Okay, we should be live now. Hasn't popped up on the other side yet, but hello everyone. Thanks for coming in. We'll wait for a few more seconds here. I don't know why. Has it? Oh, there it goes. There it is. So okay. So let's wait. I don't know. We got numbers or oh hey, it's working this week. We got three in here, so let's wait until we get a little bit more because I know I'm one of them and you're one of them,
Yeah.
and Tamara's one. So we'll wait until we get a few more people in here. So how's your week been going, Gary?
Going pretty good. Work's been pretty good. I did break 2100 this week. Of course, that remains to be seen whether or not it'll stay that way.
Hey, Lisa and Jesse's here. How you doing?
Hey, going on? What's going on, Jesse and Lisa? Always good people.
Well, I had saw that you hit 2100 today when I was on Rich Cat Ranch. They had posted showed that your numbers are at 2100.
Cool.
So um, that was cool. Matter of fact, everybody but I think two people in her that she's been tracking has gone up.
Yeah, that
I
makes
think
sense.
one was the same and one had dropped one. I think. Hey,
Well,
Kobe.
mine tends to go up every week. Um, Most of them, if you're putting in content, I think tend to go up a little bit, uh, which is a good thing. Sometimes I guess you see some slide back, but you know, if you're active and doing stuff, typically you pick a few up here and there.
Well, I'm going to start off by talking to you about a short I did, two shorts I did, and it's kind of weird. I posted them on two different days, and the first short was I changed the name on it because originally it was originally Sue said she named it Score. She went and found canning jars, and got quite a few canning jars for $10.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were used canning jars, but she went and she said brought home this little video. She said, "Hey, there's a short. I want you to put it on and name it Score." I said, "Okay." So I put it on there, and we sat there and watched it sit there on up open for it must have been 6 hours or something. Like it had one view, I said, "Man, that must be a terrible name." And she said, "Well, let it go." And I said, "Okay, fine." So I let it go for a whole day, and it went like the 6 views for the whole day.
Mm.
And I said, "Well, I'm going to try something." And she's, "Well," I said, "I'm going to change the name." I changed it to "Oh, What a Deal," and I changed it to "What a Deal." And then I had another short that was going to post it, so I posted the other short first, and it was a good start. That was the start of a beautiful morning, a beautiful day. Actually, no rain, no wind. It was just absolutely beautiful outside. One of the nicest days we've had in a long time. And uh, the good start started picking up uh, views, and then the "Oh, What a Deal" all of a sudden started picking up views, and then as of right now, the "Oh, What a Deal" is at 179 views, and the Good Start is at 59 views. So I think the name "Oh, What a Deal," but it didn't really start picking up till last night. Both of them just started taking off last night.
Yeah.
So they were in there all day long, and I don't know why they hadn't come on or hadn't watched them, but last night they just took off, and when the numbers started watching. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And Kobe said he has an announcement to make.
Okay.
You want to type it in, Kobe, or I really wasn't going to have anybody come up for a while, not until we got done with our little chat of an analysis and stuff.
All right. So just type it out in the chat, Kobe. If it's but hey, it's an interesting about that, because it was a short, right?
Right, both shorts.
All right, so it's not going to change, even if because you can't add a thumbnail to a short, at
No,
least not at this time. They may be able to do that at some point where you can pick and choose them, but
right,
typically on the shorts you can't pick the thumbnail. Um, the and I guess that's because you only got 15 seconds, and YouTube's pretty good at picking out thumbnails anyhow for the most part.
right.
Um, the I don't know. That my top short uh, took 3 days to take off, and I think I may have changed the name once. Still didn't really take off, for another couple days. I finally said I wasn't going to pay any attention to it, and then when I was just about to go to bed, I looked and the thing started popping.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. I think that YouTube has a pretty good idea with their algorithm, whether or not they want to show it to somebody, and if so, who they want to show it to. That particular short, you know, had a bunch of views, but they weren't really here in the United States. They were everywhere else, India and Japan and Indonesia and China and Russia and a little bit of everywhere. Hey,
You
good
know,
to see you,
now
Mark.
as you said that, I never really went and looked and see who viewed it. I just that now you said that it dawns on me that I should have probably didn't check that out, but I didn't. So
Well,
afterwards I will go see who did view it, see where it was at.
that there's a lot of questions that pop up in your head when you start trying to figure out, because there are so many different little things could make a difference. But the bottom line is, of the folks that do watch it, I mean, in order for something, I think, to go viral, you have to have a couple of things, one of which being good material. Second, it helps to have, if you're talking longer content, a good thumbnail. Third, I think a good title. Three, it needs to be something that's not, hey, good to see you, Josh. It needs to be something that's going to maintain somebody's interest from start to finish.
Hey, Josh, Maria's
Because
in
what
here.
they do is they look at, just be quiet. What they do is they look at how your video is being viewed. And if you have, most of the time, if you can look and see which videos have the highest views, and you can also tell how their retention is. If you go into, a lot of the analytics, it'll show you oftentimes, especially with the longer format, they can show you can literally tell where somebody skips ahead, or when you lose somebody's interest, or
Right.
there's peaks, there's valleys, there's and there's what you want on a good video is for the thing to go straight across. If you can keep somebody's attention from the very beginning of that video to the very end of that video, that's going to decide on who all they show that video to.
Right. I do know though, when they started showing, I gained 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
So when they actually started watching, I got 3 subscribers out of it. So to me, the shorts are a way to get subscribers, probably better than actual videos.
I agree.
But anyways, that's why my plan's been to try to put out 3 videos a week and 2 or 3 shorts, in between the videos. So if I put a video out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then put a short out on Tuesday and Thursday, and one on the weekend, then that would be okay. If I get to where to me it's gonna be too much because I'm getting into our busy season, of getting seed planted and working cows and all that stuff, then I'll cut it back to 2 and 2 or something like that, and we'll have to see what happens. But
Well, that's a very interesting question, because I mean, very recently, I've been, up until very recently, all the statistics and the analytics, pointed to most of my viewers, most of my subscriptions have come from shorts. But I've also noticed that some of the things that I'm been doing lately that I haven't been doing lately, that I'm kind of getting back into doing, have also led to a lot more, I guess, subscribers. And right now it's about half and half from shorts, and I think the other half was either from live streams or longer format
our videos.
Um,
Hey, we got the other side of the fence is here. Hey, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry I don't even have a name to go with that. So he's watched a lot of my videos, but I don't think I've ever gotten a name.
Hey, I understand. I'm bad with names to begin with.
Yeah,
And
it's taken me a while.
I mean, after I've looked somebody up 3 or 4 times, sometimes it becomes a little bit easier. It's always easier when you got somebody like, like Jesse puts his name in the title.
No, no, those are no brainers.
Exactly. Uh, but and hey, and I will admit, Jesse and Lisa are awesome people.
Yes,
I
they
got a
are.
chance to meet them at the, at that meetup down
Well, I
in
can't wait to
Texas.
see him in May.
Uh, and not everybody wants to give their name, and that's okay too. I don't typically ask.
I'm
Just
going to
'cause
say this, but he's put it up there. I may say it wrong. I'm saying, I think it's Cameron. Cameron.
I would say Cameron, but that's just me.
Cameron.
But then
So, but
again,
thanks
I'm
for
aware
coming, Cameron. I'll try to remember that. And if I'm going to tell you right now, I apologize if I don't remember it. But I'm getting a little bit up there, I guess, in age from actual numbers. But my mind sometimes doesn't remember names very well. But I'll try to remember Cameron. So, anyways, you want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and me start showing this? What I think I
you
figured
can.
out.
That's
Okay.
fine.
All right, everybody. This is what I've done. I think I figured out how the analytics work on your watch hours. Now, Jesse, I know it doesn't make any difference to you. Anybody who's over 1,000 won't make any difference to them. But let me see if I can show my screen. Okay, here we go. All right, and that's probably, is that the biggest I can make, Gary? Or
Can you do me a favor?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's maybe you don't want to. That's okay. Does it matter to you whether you're using the white format or the dark format?
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You told me about that. Okay. How
The
do I
dark
do that
format's a
again?
whole lot easier to use. Go up to your icon, click on that, and look down. It should say something about theme,
There we go.
and just click on the
There we
dark
go.
format. There we go. That's a
Okay.
whole lot
Yeah, I
easier.
meant to do that. I like it the other way on myself, but this is okay on this. All right. So what I figured out is when you come here and you look down here for the people who haven't gotten their 4,000 hours, yet, or their subscribers, if you look right there, it tells you the date that was updated. I started this back. We actually doing this on March 26th. On March 26th, I had 19 in the morning. I had 1,993 hours. All right, and I'm not worried about my subscribers, but just the numbers. I kept watching that during the day because I knew that it should have had like 5.5 hours added to that from that day that I had, which I got from whoops, let me get the right one. What the heck happened here? There we go. That's what I want right there. I got from putting this on 365 days and going back exactly to now it's going to show March 31st, which is yesterday. There it shows. Oh, hang on here. I get right there. All right. On the March 31st, I had that's 1/10 of a watch hour that was on there. So what I did was I'll show a real quick cut here. I charted it out from the 26th right there through onto the 7th, which I haven't gotten the whole way, but I'm just because I'm trying to check this out. But I went back to watching this down here on the 26th. On the 26th, I had 5.5 watch hours added, but I had no watch hours subtracted. So later on that day, that number changed right there. It changed to 1999, which is the middle of the day. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. I said, I wonder why it changed in the middle of the day. So I started tracking it at that point. The next day, I went back to what I had before, which was this. Oh, that's not coming up now. Weird. Here it is. I did this here on that watch time on 365 days. I went and watched down this end here, and it said I had no watch hours coming off, but I had this end. It told me how much of that day I had on the 27th of March. I had 4 watch hours going on. So the next day, when I looked back to the other side, and looked at it again. It showed in the morning I had 2,000 and 2,002 watch hours total. So I thought, well, this is interesting. I wonder what that means, you know. So I kept a track of it, and I kept going back and forth on that. And I thought, well, how come that hasn't changed during the day? Well, I found out if you have no watch hours going on, and you have watch hours coming off only, the watch hours will come off in the morning, and then we'll subtract to each other, and then the other hours, it seems like if you're like late at night, they come on later in the evening. So I started tracking that, trying to watch that and see what's going on. But then what I ended up doing is on the 28th, I looked at it and it had dropped down. I had a -9 watch hours, but I should have had a plus 13.1 watch hours going on it. Well, in the morning it was at 2001, so it lost like the 1 watch hour, but later on that day it went up to 2012. So I started thinking, well, okay, they must be taking the watch hours off in the morning, and sometime during the day they're putting the watch hours back on that you had gained for that day. So I thought, okay, I had it figured out. Well, then yesterday or today, yesterday I had 2012 hours, and so today I got on it and I looked at it, and it had gone back to just adding my watch hours, which I had 7.8 watch hours going off, but I had, let's see, no, I had 7.8 watch hours go on, but I had 5 watch hours coming off down here. So it ended up going on to where I have 2017. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, because this is going to be the 29th on here, so it should show, which it does. Tomorrow it will show the 30th. So what my calculations is, a year ago I had 0.6 watch hours coming off, and I have 17.5 going on. So tomorrow morning I get up, and this number right here is 2034. Then there's a 17 watch hours going on, and the 0.6 was only a half a watch hour off that. There was a 17.5 watch hours going on this year, or this week or this last day. So that would make it definitely 17. So I'm going to try to see what's going on there, because it sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it shows it take off that watch hours in the morning and puts them on in the afternoon. And I don't know if that's, I can't figure out why it does that. It's I would think it'd do it automatically every day.
Well, but I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Is it possible that it updates at different times throughout the day? Or was it only at 2 different times? Because I call myself looking at mine a few times throughout the day and seeing it change a couple times throughout the day, as far as my subscribers are concerned.
Well, that's a good question, Gary, because I tried to watch it, and during the day, like you said, and I'm not checking it every hour. And hey, yeah. Jan, we got Jan came in, Corner Clubhouse came in. I don't know their name. Derek Fowler came in. Hey, Derek.
Corner Clubhouse Cobalt is Mark, and obviously Jan is simply Jan Homestead.
Right.
And I would think Derek Fowler would be Derek Fowler.
Derek Fowler, yep. So I that's what good question, Gary. And I guess I should do is go and watch it like every 2 hours, and see if it changes. But I kept watching today, and I checked this morning. It was at 2017. You saw we just checked it today, just now. Yeah. It was still at 2017. So I don't know. It's kind of that's one of those things that I wish they would tell you how it works, but we'll have to see tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow I have 0.6 coming off, because that's what it was a year ago. I had 0.6 on that go on, so that goes off. So that's 0.6, and I have 17.5 should be going on from the 30th, which I think I collected most of that from being on lives with other people and co-streaming with other people in my video probably.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've gone back. I know I'm back and forth on that screen from the day, which I'm going to bring that back up again. So on this,
Jesse said to keep in mind the deduction number is static, but the addition watch hours for you today is fluid, because people watch your videos all at all hours of the day.
Okay, then that would be that would make sense because
And
I
it
was
would
I
make sense.
looked like when I'm talking about the 30th. You go right here and let me get this darn thing. I thought you think you have it, don't.
By the
Okay,
way, did you see Jan and Anne Marie and Steve earlier when they were co-streaming?
Jan
They were co-streaming, yeah, from Simply Jam Homestead.
and Emery. Yeah, that's not today. You mean right?
No, they were just a little bit ago.
Oh no,
In
I didn't
fact,
see him. I wasn't on here just a little ago. I was eating dinner.
oh, okay,
Susan said I had to eat, so
I
not that I
understand.
really needed it. I could have gone without
Well,
it, but
we went and had dinner with my parents this afternoon, and so I wasn't able to get. Hey, Dark Lord Manette, uh, good to see you. Hope I'm saying that right. I always wonder. Uh,
let me
anyhow,
change this to this here. Okay, so on the 30th, now see that number has changed from now. It's 18.1. Earlier when I checked, no, that's the 31st, right? No, that's 30th. Earlier when I checked it, that was 17.5, but now it's changed to 18.1. What made it change? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if somebody because we're in far enough advance that nobody's watching from yesterday still. So
I don't know.
that's different. So I'm trying have to figure out now why that changed.
I tend to look at it a little bit more, try to see the forest than the trees,
Yeah.
which is, and I think it's probably helpful if a lot more people did that because they're looking at the journey as opposed to each step. Um, I'm just
Well,
thinking out loud.
that's on Thursday. That was yesterday, 18.1. So that should be going on because we're still on the 29th on the actual analytics completion. So it should go on tomorrow to add that part in and subtract the 0.6, which was back from a year ago, which I don't have on this screen. I have to go back to 365, and I go back to March 31st here. It'll show. Well, now it shows 0.1 on that day. Oh, 31st. That's right. The 30th you can't see because that's already past a year. So it was 0.6, and like now it's going to be 0.1 for the 31st. But then if you look, I got on the first day I got 0, and then it goes back. I've got all these little low numbers here. They're all
Yeah,
ones and nothing big. So my numbers should go up on if I keep doing lives and videos and people keep watching, my numbers should climb significantly. But see that peak right there? That
yeah,
peak right there, Susan and I calculated that's almost 500 hours
yeah,
right there. And so if I don't get to my 4,000 before this time, I'm gonna be down 500 hours. I'm gonna have to work back.
yeah.
So
That's true.
that's a lot of hours. 500 is a lot of hours in a I think it's a week period. It goes from the 8th.
Yeah, you got to have a whole lot of other stuff for them to watch in order to make up for one video that happens
Right,
to go viral. So you might as well set your stopwatch or your calendar, I guess,
to
when
shoot
you're
it by
talking about
June 1st.
trying to get that's, hey, I would agree with you 100%. And I would say if somebody has something that really kicks in like that, it's probably a good idea to try to make it a point to know you got 1 year from that date to try and make it as easy as possible because you
You
just
know
got a nice little
what's so
kick.
funny about that? If you go back in my videos and try to figure out which video it was, it's my well, it's I have it now on the front page. It's my goat and cow video where I was trimming the goat's hoofs and stuff. I had 20,000 views on that video,
Yeah.
and that's where all those watch hours are coming from. Some people watch that video. I mean, 500 hours and 20 out of 20,000 views didn't take a whole lot of time to build that many hours up.
You know what's funny? Just about every time I do, well, not every time, but I can't tell you how many different times when I sit there and do a video and put, I think, oh, this title's so clever, and it's such a good topic, and it's such a good thing that man, this thing ought to take off. Um, I can't tell you how many times I've been disappointed from that, or not have I mean, I always try to keep my feet on the ground. But
Right.
you know, you got hopes every time you do one that people will see it. Um, the the bottom line, I reckon, is just to, you know, keep your nose to the grindstone, keep making content, and you know, hopefully you do something that's interesting. If you do something that's interesting, you know, try to stick with that subject. Other people, if they come back and they see that you're still doing stuff with hooves and what have you know, hopefully they'll come back and keep watching that material because they've obviously shown an interest in that content at some point.
Well, you know, Susan watches all our videos on the TV, which doesn't give her in the descriptions. I mean, she can go into it in the description, but she can't. Uh, and she can do a like on it, but she can't type anything in the comment section. But she comes in this morning. She says, "Hey," I said, "What?" She says, "What did you do? What you do to the very first video we did?" And I said, "What do you mean? What do I do?" She said, "Well, it's showing up on the recommendation page. The very first video we ever did showed up on the recommendation page." And I said, looked at her and said, "You're kidding me," because it's not the best video we did. It's the very
Yeah.
first one. We were playing around with a GoPro and a camera, and we were trying to figure out how to edit and all that stuff. And I mean, it's okay, but you look at the video then, look at videos now. I don't think they're the same, but it was showing up on the recommendation page, and she said, "What did you do to make it do that?" And I said, "I didn't do anything. I don't know why it's popping up now, but it popped up. So I don't know how many people, if anybody watched it or not, but it was popping up on our recommendation page. I don't know if it was showing up on other people's or not.
Yeah.
So
You know, from time to time, I tend to go into my analytics page, and you know where it shows where how many videos have been shown in the last 48 hours, how many in the last 60 minutes. I like to go on that page and just take a look at the dates of the ones that have been seen within the last 48 hours.
yeah,
Most all of them are going to be, you know, from here the last couple of days. But occasionally you'll find one. For example, I got one on mine right now that shows up quite frequently, and it's from July the 19th, 2021, and it's a family taste test: Black Krim versus Arkansas Traveler versus Striped German versus Marion tomatoes. Um, and it's, you know, it's interesting to watch the ones that actually do show up over and over again, and it gives me an idea typically of some of the ones I probably ought to recreate. Um, for example, I mean, taste tests are always popular. You know, people watch those, but you know, because they want to kind of, a lot of times they want to kind of see which ones are the best tomatoes. I want to make sure I'm growing the best tomatoes. Um, Now, I also have one from 2021, from July the 12th, 2021, that is Variety Spotlight on Arkansas Black Apple Tree in today's tour, Food Forest Tour, July 10th, 2021. And you know, it's one that I guess two people have seen in the last hour as well as last 48 hours. Uh, Also, I got one that continues to show up from September the 28th, 2021. It's just on how to speak redneck. But if you go back and look, and Sweet Cherry Tree Guild, what, just from looking at mine that I see, I can tell that I probably ought to do a few tomato taste tests this year and maybe get some members of the family together. I probably ought to go back into the fruit trees and do a few more spotlights on some of the varieties out there. Um, Maybe even include a guild between the because I've got, you know, throughout the year, you when you plant things like fruit trees, I have one fruit tree that blooms earlier than anything else. Well, guess what? If it's there by itself, it ain't going to cross pollinate with anything, which means it's going to do, you know, it's not going to produce near enough fruit. But if you read up and put a little attention into it, I found out that my Anna apple tree, even though it blooms so much earlier than everything else, I've got another one. Uh, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head. But sometimes it's best to include information like that so that people that are looking for answers about particular things, there's probably not a whole lot of stuff out there about Arkansas black, apple trees.
Right. Hang on,
So
Gary. This other side of the fence to put in 29. I don't have a drop link in here. You'll have to ask Jesse to drop your link in here. I don't have not set anything up like that in here yet.
thank you
So
for doing it, though.
yeah, Gary would appreciate that. But Jesse, you don't mind dropping his link for him, so if people could hook up to it, I appreciate it. And then also we have to do our disclaimer. We want to say we are not experts at what we're saying.
Well, I thank you for that. I appreciate that, Xander. Dark
Hey,
Lord,
Nora.
And Joe Fix it. Good to see you, Joe. And it's always a pleasure, Nora. Nora the Stock Explorer, awesome people there. And we,
So do your
we
disclaimer.
we are not experts.
Right. We're not experts. This is
that
just our opinion.
That's right. And sometimes opinions are wrong. But, I try to, whatever I tell you, I've tried to do some research on. I've tried to go through and make sure I understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes I guess I'm probably still wrong on some stuff. I'll never claim to be an authority. Just, somebody who spent way too much time studying up on things.
And we're not like Jesse. Jesse's never wrong, but we are wrong sometimes.
He ain't always right, but he's never
wrong. Right. But yeah, we may not be right, and sometimes we are wrong. So
that's right. That is true. And
but anyways,
I'm the first one to admit it.
Okay, so you're talking about fruit trees, and we got a package yesterday from Starks Brothers for our apricot tree that I ordered, or what Susan ordered, and our strawberry plants came in, and we put that tree, if you want to call it a tree, is a stick, with a few roots on it. We stuck it in the ground, and we got trees last year from them, which are cherry trees and nectarine trees, which are all budding out and even got 1 or 2 flowers on it this year. Mm-hmm. So, but we have a pear tree, a Haas pear tree, that is so loaded full of flowers that I told students if it started putting fruit on, we're going to have to start plucking fruit off because the poor tree couldn't hold all the. Hey,
right?
Everybody can see you. You don't have to say anything. No, they can see you.
You're right.
It's it would just be so big that so much fruit. There'll all be about that size, or it would be the tree would fall over because it's had too much weight in it, and it's in a barrel. So I'm getting ready to put my orchard in. Hopefully, here in the next couple of weeks, put all my trees in an orchard.
It's as long as they get fertilized, that shouldn't be any problem. You may have to prune or take some of them off in order to. But I kind of look at it like this. At one point, before 2020, I kind of just figured gardening is where you throw a seed down, maybe throw a little dirt over it, let nature take its course. Of course, whatever happens. But I've come to believe that when it comes to gardening, I have a tendency to believe now that we're more like, if you garden, it's more like you a sculptor. They say, I don't know if it was Michelangelo, but one of them famous folks what does sculpture says he sees the sculpture as it is, and then he just, he uses his chisel to knock off the stuff that don't belong.
Right.
I tend to think of gardening, in pretty much the same way because, if you picture this 8-foot, 10-foot tall tomato plant, you have to tend to it, make sure you take off the suckers and make sure it's the right kind of tomato plant. And you just have to kind of go and create what you need or what you want. And I tend to believe that with fruit trees as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want a big, luscious, peach, well, if you've got, 200 or 300 peaches on there, it's not going to be able to, well, first of all, if it's fairly young, it won't be able to handle all that stress. Secondly, unless it's taken care of properly, chances are all those fruits ain't gonna grow to what you envisioned.
Right.
Um, but even then, you're kind of at the nature of mercy. But I think it's a combination of you working with nature and understanding the plant. Um, Now, maybe that's way too philosophical. Maybe you just need to throw a seed in the dirt and let it grow. But
Well, no, I don't think so, because I think you really do have to watch it. Because if you, unless you don't, I know when I was in California, we had a plum tree, a Santa
yeah,
Rosa plum tree, and I had it in one of those half wooden barrels,
hmm
and I had in a certain area, and I thought, well, we're gonna transplant this into another. After I was doing my terraces up on place in San Diego, and I said, well, we'll transplant this after we get the terraces done. Well, we didn't get it done in time,
yeah,
and I went out there and the tree had all kinds of fruit on it. I had uh, PVC pipe trying to hold up the branches so they wouldn't break off the whole barrel of the tree. And we picked off we picked off what we could. The rest of it fell on the ground and rotted and stuff like that. But we end up taking a humongous. I mean, the biggest stainless steel pots you can buy. We filled those all up with plums. We made plum jelly, and
cool.
we gave plum jelly to away at Christmas time and birthdays, and I mean we gave big quart jars of plum jelly away to people, and I don't even know if everybody even was able to eat all that plum jelly, but we gave that all away because we had so much of it. But I went to move the tree afterwards, and it had gone right through the bottom of that wooden barrel, and with this taproot went right into the ground, and I had to dig the taproot up to be able to transplant the tree someplace else. And it
Yeah.
did really good. It was always doing good. We got more plums off that tree than every year. And I can say, we gotta thin this out, gotta thin this out. But they were all, decent sized plums,
Yeah.
the size plums you buy in the store.
Well, would you
So
believe I've got a Santa Rosa plum tree? And hey, Tamara and David, I do have a Santa Rosa plum tree planted down there at Mom and Dad's.
yeah. How old is it?
It's been in the ground. We put some of them in 2020 and we put some in 2021. I think the Santa Rosa I think we got one in 2020. So it may be the big one we got. It's just planted in the right spot, getting enough sun and everything else. And it's outshining everything else.
Yeah, those Santa Rosa plums they're good. They're good
I
eating.
believe it. Hey, song bits, Laura, good to see you. And dances with Adams, and dancing
Oh,
along with Reynolds.
with Reynolds, yeah.
Sorry if I mess up on things. I'm full of flaws. So it's the nature of being me, I reckon.
And
But
Dark Lord Bent is here.
yeah,
And
Dark Lord Manette.
that's I want to say Alexander. I think is what his name is. Uh,
Xander, I think.
Xandra,
Zan, Xander is what I'm thinking.
Xander,
Yeah, I could be wrong.
and then we have Otis.
Yeah, Otis is making himself heard. You know, I got,
Poor
I
guy.
got.
You never see him on camera. You always see Nikki.
No, I showed him earlier.
Oh, did you? And
Yeah,
this is this is
he got a bath today.
this is my jewel.
Hang on, let me move my check because I've got it in the way of the screen. I don't see Jewel. There we go.
You, she wants me to let her out. Mama sent her back in here, so obviously the dogs aren't done eating. She wants to go out and see what's left to see if
Yeah.
she can snipe them from them. Here, go.
In fact, come here, Otis. They want to see you, or at least Jerry wants to see you.
Hey, there. I didn't know Otis was a fur. It was a real big fur baby.
Well, he ain't too big.
I think it's the first time I've seen Otis.
Well, he's been on here.
I just must have missed him.
He typically he's a lot more. Well, we lost Lulabelle, who was his companion for a long, long time.
Right.
She had kidney failure, and we had to have her put down in February or November the 1st, 2022. And he's about 11, 12, maybe 13 years old. She was about 9 years old, I guess. So for most, in fact, he may not be as old. He's a little bit older than she was, and so they were constant companions, and they always hanging out together. Um, and then we got Nikki, and Little Bell used to play with Nikki, but Otis didn't want anything to do, not with Nikki, with Bella. We had Bella, and Bella was a sweet. Well, she was a wonderful dog, but she chewed on everything, and she liked to bite a lot. It wasn't intentional. She just, that was
Very mouthy, huh?
Anyhow, and we went down and picked up. We went down and picked up Nikki from Devil Dog, and and she was just so little at the time. And Bella was getting up around 6 months, and she was a pretty good sized dog. I was thinking she might grow to be 90, 100 pounds, something like that. But, Otis, ever since we lost Lulabelle, though, Otis has been a little bit more clingy. He never was clingy before. But ever since we lost Lulabelle, he's been a lot more clingy and more. I mean, I couldn't have paid him to come up in my lap before. But now he actually, sit here and enjoy sitting in my lap. But
that's nice.
I'm gonna set you back down over here. You got a chance to meet, Jerry, and hopefully you'll just relax for a little while.
And yes, Tamara, we our prayers do go out to people who are in these storms. My sister lives in Illinois, and I guess she was under tornado watch there for a little while. I have not talked to her yet this evening, so I'll have to call her later on to see what's going on. But I guess they had some long-term tornadoes, some big ones going across there. So
I just had somebody contact me and let me know that there were some tornadoes up around Tunica. But we're a pretty good ways from Tunica, so we're
So anybody's out there that maybe that's in the area that may be watching, please stay safe.
Dancing along with Reynolds asked, how does that click for click work? I think I don't do it. Although I will admit I ran into a channel recently that from all appearances, it looks like some channels are selling, I guess, subscriptions. And what they did is they were saying something other about so many of this for so much of a super chat. I don't do that. Never will. Never have.
Well, we're not a sub for sub. We're not sub for sub people. We never have been. If you sub to us, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. I mean, it's all up to you.
And I do. Now, I try, if I'm connected with if somebody's connected with me, every now and then I'll go down the list and see if if somebody with more than, just a handful, and by a handful, I mean 2, 1, 9, subscribers. They're obviously not, producing any content, but every now and then I'll go look and see on my subscriber list who, what channels have, and I'll under the subscription thing, and I'll go through and connect with some of those.
But, well, Shirley from just doing our best, she told me yesterday her and I have been subscribed to each other for, I don't know, 6 months, and I've watched lots of her videos, and she's watched mine. She said she was going to go on and watch a video I was put up on Wednesday, and she called back and said, "Hey, I was unsubscribed to you." She said, "I've been subscribed to you for a long time. I'm now unsubscribed. I had to resubscribe." Well, she resubscribed, but the numbers never changed.
Yeah,
my side. So,
I had a paying member, somebody that was paying to support my channel, that went through and had to resubscribe. I don't remember if it's 7. It's either 7 or like 13 times in 1 week.
Really? To stay connected to you.
Yeah, well, they were continuing to, and watching my videos every day. It's good to see you, Song Betzlar. Um, the it's just weird. It's just weird to me how sometimes that, and I sometimes I wonder if it depends on whether or not maybe they're using a couple different programs or media things, like maybe they're using a computer or a laptop or a iPad or iPhone or Android. Sometimes I think maybe it depends on which one they're using, as to maybe it's showing up on one and it's not on the other.
Yeah.
Um, I have no way of checking that though, and so
No, yeah, like I said, if we were an expert on YouTube, we could write a book about it all. We could make fortune.
well,
You
I
know?
believe we probably know enough to write a book on it.
Well, yeah, but some of the stuff we think we know changes from day to day, and you
That's
can't write a book if you have things change from day to day.
Well, that's just like when you buy a car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's lost value.
Yep,
So I don't know. Six of one, half a dozen of the other.
it's true.
I don't
That's
even
why we
know.
just try to help people as we can, where we can.
Yeah, help them understand what we think we understand.
Yep, I got one of
Hey,
your, I got your gnats here, Gary.
hey, I'm glad they're over there, and
I wish they'd stay at your place. It's not coming here. I don't know where they're coming
well,
from.
the amount of gnats is going down around here because I took all my pepper plants back outside. Man, you ought to see that Carolina Reaper though. Woo! It's looking good.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I'm expecting a bounty crop of Carolina Reapers this year.
I
Second
had
year.
a well. When you watch my solo cup video, I had to tonight. We had to move our gourds that I transplanted into the solo cups because they are starting to take off, and they were growing to the grow light and actually wrapping around the electrical wires, and they're about, I'd say they're about that tall already, which is
Yeah,
about a foot tall, and they
that
got runners
reminds.
out. They got runners out and they're wrapped around things. And soon said, what are we gonna do with these things? I said, well, let's take them and put them in the bathroom because I have my koi fish in the bathroom so they won't freeze. And there was a grow light there for our cactuses that we have and that we brought from California, and our sago palms we brought from California. So we put them in the wintertime. We put them in the bathroom and had this grow light. Well, we put the gourds in there, put 6 gourds in there. She put in there, so because they're so tall that they're almost past the lights anyway. So
Yeah. By the
gives
way,
me some more room to transplant more of my solo cups.
let me say one or two things real quick, just because. Well, I guess because I want to.
Okay.
Um, the For anybody that doesn't know how I met Jerry because he happened to be in the he happened to be in Brian's live stream in his chat. He's over at the Vineyard Farmhouse, and I was trying to find people that had channels that would be willing to try and participate in an experiment with me. I met some people in some other places as well, but I sent multiple emails to different people. Now I had to go, look them up and find what their channel was, find their email address. Never watched any of their content, and my point of that was just so that I didn't want it to be a tainted survey. I wanted to be able to find out if I, connected with one channel and they connected with me, and we never watched the other's content, if it would stick. Well, the and I had to use several different methods to try and find enough people for a decent sample size. Um, one of the things that I did was like in this case, I just emailed somebody, and if I was fortunate enough for them to respond, I connected with them, their channel, they connected with mine, and we never bothered watching one another's content. A few of the samples were somebody I was familiar with, had a secondary or a third or a tertiary channel. And so they sent me the links to their tertiary channel. I sent them the links to one of my other channels, and checked at the end of the. I never did conclude it, but I did find out a couple of things about it. I should have done a video on it, but one of the things that I found out is that while Jerry and I, in fact, Jerry sent me a letter back, an email back saying, "Hey, how long is this thing going to go? Some of the stuff on your channel looks interesting. I want to watch it." I said, "All right, might as well call it." This is like after a month. Anyhow, his channel was still subscribed to mine. I was still subscriber connected to his. Out of the about 13 to 15 channels that I connected with, all of them were still connected except for 2. Well, I appreciate that, Lazy Days. I think he's dropping my my other channels.
No, is he?
Yeah, my cute
Yep.
critters. It's actually not Perennial Food Forest anymore. I changed it to gardening, just so you know, Jesse. Well, Perennial Food Forest is kind of single dimensional. I think gardening allows me a little bit more leeway in it. But anyhow, there was only 2 channels that weren't still connected. And out of all the ones, I think they were the only 2 I couldn't find through doing a search. Somebody told me about them, and they actually had to send me the link for those 2 channels. And so I used the link. I connected with those 2 channels, and those were the only 2 I wasn't still connected to. So for the most part, I think that links or connections stay pretty well. I do think that they have a tendency to knock other. I think they do have a tendency to knock off other. Hey, now he got it. He changed it over to gardening. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate that. Jesse, he's got a sense of humor, ain't he?
Yeah, he does. He's cool. He's a good guy.
Gotta love Jesse and Lisa. They awesome. But anyhow, and I guess I forgot to give a tip. And I had a tip on the tip of my brain, but it was going to be a gardening tip. Let me think. I know tons of stuff about gardening. I guess it shouldn't be too hard. Hey, if you want to make sure that you have a good with your garden, if you want to make sure you have plenty of fruit or vegetables on a tomato plant, you can go use a electric toothbrush, and when the flowers pop up, just lay the toothbrush up against the base of the flower and turn it on for like 2 or 3 seconds, about 3 or 4 seconds, and then cut it off, and it will that will make sure that and now I should also point out that if the temperature's 95 and above, that ain't gonna work, because those high temperatures do have a tendency to sterilize the pollen. But typically tomato plants are self-pollinating, and you can go through and make sure that each one of those blossoms is pollinated.
Hey, so will that work with trees too?
Should. Well,
all my trees are
not necessarily, because not all trees are self-pollinating.
Well, all my trees except for the apple trees are self-pollinating. And the 2 apple trees I have are cross-pollinators. So they will cross-pollinate each other, but the rest of them are self-pollinating.
You see what Jesse put? He said, "Gary, your gardening page should be called Redneck Gardening with Gary."
Yeah.
Hey, just saying. I like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of funny. I do love to garden. I never planted anything before 2020, and my wife's been planting her whole life. She's a master gardener, but since 2020, I've watched so much information. I've even gone through the master gardening course up here that my wife's been a member of about 10 years. I was the first one and the quickest one, as far as I know. I was the very first person, at least in Rankin County, to have gone through the online classes. I know this because they said, "Well, nobody's done that before. Let me see what's next." When I went up there to try and get I am not a master gardener. I have not completed the hours required for donating hours towards helping with this place and another. I've honestly stayed too busy, but I have learned a lot about gardening. And Tammy kind of hates that because, she's got to where me and her will get into a discussion on gardening. It is something else we can talk about though, but
Right.
you know, she
Well,
hates it when,
I thought we could talk more about gardening as it gets into more and more into the season.
hey, I'm down with that. But
So
she gets a little frustrated with me though, because when she says something that to me doesn't sound quite right, and I say, "Well, this is what I understand about that," and then she'll go check it, and then she'll come to find out I'm right. At least I ain't run into a situation yet when I would. So
well, when Susan does some of the same things, and she says when she's find out that I'm wrong and she's right, she marks it on the calendar. And she said never has more than one or two for the year on the calendar. So but
yeah,
what this year we get off a little bit onto the gardening, but this year what we're going to do is something different because we have a real bad problem with Johnson grass here. And Johnson grass is very invasive. And if
yeah,
you don't know what Johnson grass is, just let me know and I'll explain it to you. But uh, we are going to try. In the past, we've done straw bale gardening,
yep.
and Susan's pretty good at doing the straw bale gardening. But the problem is when it gets really hot, the straw bales lose their water quickly. So
Had
this year,
I was
I'm
just
sorry.
going to suggest if that's something that y'all are interested in pursuing, you may look into core gardening. I know M.I. Gardner uses that, and basically what he does, he takes that straw bale, and instead of planting in the straw bale, he will bury the straw bale below it so that it helps retain and hold on to it. So you still have some beneficial properties of it, but that way you don't have to water as often.
Well, we're going to try this year. As I don't know if you see my transplanted my trees in those totes, those IBS totes or IBT totes. Have you seen the video where I actually transplanted a tree into it?
I'm sorry I hadn't.
Okay, well I've got a couple of videos where I've done trees. We got a I don't want to say a surplus, but we have a place to get totes for free. And the farmer across the street I used to work for, he said, "Come get what you want. I got to clean them out, no problem." Well, this year we're going to do is we're going to get those totes. We're going to cut them in half, and we're going to set them on top of the ground. We're going to use them as raised beds. They do have an opening in them, so water can run out of them. But we're gonna they don't flood out. But we're going to open those up, and we're going to uh, put dirt in there from go to Lowe's and buy a bunch of vegetable dirt, and as I get my guy to deliver me some topsoil dirt, and I mix it with my mushroom soil dirt. But we're going to fill those up with dirt, and we're going to plant in those things this year to see how how that works. We're going to do that. Plus, we're going to do our self wicking tubs, and
Yeah.
then we're going to put and I'm going to also plant pumpkins in the ground. I've got about 100 by I think it's about 100 by 50-foot area that's going to be strictly pumpkins and watermelons. And I'm going to put
Cool.
several plants out this year because I found out that if you don't put enough plants out there, the weeds take over. The water is not being used like it should. So I'm going to plant, I don't know, 50 to 100 plants in this area so they are thick in there, so they cover the ground and hopefully keep some of the Johnson grass down.
Okay. If I could, let me address something that Dark Lord Manette said. He was, or they were saying something about being in northern Nevada. They get slow, lots of snow at times. Um, if that's a real arid area, I mean, I can only speak for here, and I live in Mississippi. But I do know that something else, core gardening, may be an option, or looking at something known as hugelkultur. Hugelkultur is supposed to be something that is good for areas that don't get a lot of rainfall, or don't have a tendency to dry out quickly. But a lot of snow obviously is a lot of moisture. Um, uh, but maybe it'd be a way to keep some of that moisture in the ground. Anyhow,
Tamara, you are a moderator.
I think that's what she's saying. She's not a moderator.
But she
Yeah.
is.
Well, I know, but she probably means she doesn't want to be a moderator.
Oh, she doesn't.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
She doesn't want to tell. She just tell me. I'll take it off,
I've
or
seen
Jesse
some
can take it off.
I've seen some people that just absolutely have no desire to be a moderator, and that's okay as well. Um, I will tell you this: that I do enjoy a good, lively conversation about gardening from time to time. It you know, Tamara and David, there was a comment that you made says, "Oh no, I'm no moderator. I'm out." So I don't know if that means you don't want to be a moderator. I know by looking at it that you have the wrench, or you have the jacket, the blue jacket, whatever you call it. So if you don't have to do anything with that, Tamara or David, it just means that you can go into any of these folks' channel pretty easily. You could, if you highlight put the cursor over their statement, their comment, 3 dots appears out to the right hand side. You click on that, and one of the options is go to their channel. That way, it allows you a little bit more freedom that you get with other than somebody who doesn't. Otherwise, you just get report and something else. But you can time people out too. Some people don't want the responsibility. Some people view it as a responsibility. So, all right. Anyhow, well, what's another tip? I would make a recommendation to anybody watching. If you go through and when if you're making longer format content, ask a question at the beginning of it, or think of a question somebody might be asking when you go through. Oh, hey, custom screen printing. It's good to see you. Hadn't been to your live lately. I need to. I just been, in fact, it'd be easy for me to hang my head in shame right now because I haven't been able to get to hardly anything lately. With all the live streams that I don't know. I tend to be in quite a few live streams.
Well, yeah, and with the new thing where you can co-stream, it makes it easier for you to get co-stream and have get more watch hours that way too.
Well, I tend to look at it more as more content. Some people I put on somebody's watch list earlier last night. By the time it rolled around this morning, it was over, and they had every single video they had on there was over. I'd watched. I hadn't watched, but
you played it. You played the list. If you did that to mine, it's going to take you almost 3 full days. So
I've got like 1,030 uploads, and some people just need content, even if it's just if you can put an hour on there. What?
Can you not let Otis out?
I hadn't let Otis out.
No, like if you do let him out, the gate's open.
Well, why's the gate open? Sorry.
You're right.
To get, you know that cake that we bought?
Oh, okay.
Life happens.
Yeah.
You don't want dogs getting out, though.
Hey, I tend to look at it like this. A lot of people have expectations when you connect with them, and I don't blame them. It's always nice to have people stop by and say hey and watch videos and make comments, and those are all appreciated. They really are.
I'm doing good custom screen print. Thanks.
But I never worry about whether or not I see somebody. And there are some people, I go to their live streams, and you're not going to see them in mine. Of course, that makes sense because some of my live streams are at 12 o'clock midnight.
Right.
So,
that's how I got hooked up with Devil Dog, and you guys were doing that show at midnight, and so I started watching it, and and Devil Dog, he's a character. You get on talking to him, and I was only going to go on for an hour, so I'll go to bed at 1 o'clock. That's no big deal. Next thing I know, it's 3:30 in the morning, and he's still going at it. And I can say, hey, I'm going to go. No, hang on 1 second. He can keep you in there for 2 hours longer.
He will. He used to do that to me all the time.
Yes, I am on Facebook.
but I think that one of the things that everybody can use, in fact, and I will admit that, typically if I'm watching, if I sit down to click on a few live streams here and there, you know, if I've got somebody who is a paying member to my channel, and it's not that, and I'm not, you got to pick and choose somehow, on the ones that you go into. I try to limit myself at times to 15 minutes, but sometimes you just ain't paying attention to what else is on. And a lot of times I'll hop into the first one. I will typically look to see if any of my members are on. If they're on, because the fact that they're actually, they're supporting my channel, I do have a tendency to hop in their live streams before I do anybody else's if they're on at the same time.
Okay, hang on a second, Gary. Yes, I'm on Facebook under Butler Family Farm. I'm also under Facebook under my name, Jerry Butler. So I started Facebook with Butler Family Farm also, but I have problems with Facebook because it doesn't work as easily as everybody says it is, or it doesn't work easily for me. So I have problems connecting all the pages. Supposed to be able to connect them all together. Well, I haven't been able to do that, but I do post some videos over there, but not. I rather be on YouTube anyways. It's easier to control. And I have been hacked on Facebook before, and it cost me $500. So I rather, actually cost me $700. I tried not to hook anything into Facebook because I have no control over some of that.
I am on Facebook, but I've got a group on Facebook called Belt Loop 29, just like it is on here. But I don't spend a lot of time on there. And fact is, I try to go in there from time to time to share stuff. And I do have a link to it, I think, on my about page. I'm not real sure. But I do have a link on my banner, top right hand side, down near the bottom of the picture. I do have links to my other channels. If anybody's interested, if you're not, that's okay too. It's not a big deal. My other channels are the ones Jesse was listing earlier. The ones, Cute Critters. I love animals, and especially Nikki. She's my baby girl. And
she's not an animal. She's a pet. She's a family member.
That's right. She's a baby, and I do show her off a little bit. I do have a gardening channel because it was perennial food forest because I am interested in that type of subject, but that is rather limiting, and it's like having one slice of the entire pie. And so I think it's good to have stuff that you plant, pay a little bit of attention to. It's not as labor intensive as annual gardening or gardening for the summer. And I do have a canned cook channel, which and I'll post my failures on there too. In fact, I posted the last couple of videos. 2 of the last 3, I think, have shown my failures. So I'm beginning to think if I should put a question mark at the end of it and just say Belt Loop 29 can cook. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm gonna show the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So yeah, well, on my Facebook page, it says I show the good, the bad, the pretty, and the ugly. So I also I cook, but the only thing that's a failure in cooking is if it's unedible. If it's unedible, then it's a failure. I don't have any failures. Everything I cook, I'm able to eat. Well, so, but I may be able to eat things other people can't. So
Let me tell you what the 2 failures were, and you tell me if they're failures or not. First, I made one of them was mac and cheese that I made, and I was going to turn it into mac and cheese bites. But when I scooped it out and tried to flour it and put it in the grease to fry it, canola oil, it basically fell apart. So it wasn't. I mean, it made awesome mac and cheese. That's some of the best mac and cheese I've ever made.
Okay, did you try putting it in the freezer first to firm it up before you put it in the flour?
No, but
You
it is
should.
a failure because I didn't get it done. I
Well,
just went ahead and ate that mac and cheese just the way it was because it
well,
was
then it
awesome.
wasn't a failure. You see, you were able
Well,
to
it
eat
was
it.
a failure from the standpoint that I didn't get it fried.
Well,
Um,
that's true. But one of the things you might want to try next time, if you try it again, is put it in the freezer for long enough, a while, so it starts to firm up, and then go
oh, I
ahead and.
know. I saw, in fact, Gorilla Joe's did it his that way, and it looked really good. I may have to try that next time.
Yep.
Or I may try. Granted, the type of mac and cheese that I did was kind of not as thick uh, as your traditional mac and cheese that you make with like a roux or a I for some reason I'm blanking on the name of it. It's one of the 5 traditional mother sauces in French cooking. Bechamel. A bechamel is also basically the same thing as a roux, basically like a blonde roux. Anyhow,
Yeah.
um, and my other thing, I was trying fried chicken, and I don't fry a whole lot of stuff, but all the crust came off of the chicken. So I did
That's.
go ahead and that crust was tasty, man.
Yep.
If it had stuck to that chicken, man, that would have been the best fried chicken I'd ever had. I ate the crust anyhow. Pour a little honey on it, man. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that happens a lot when you fry if you fry a chicken and the skin sticks is because your pan's a little on the hot side. So, but I do like you. I rather have the skin anyway. So the only thing, some of the things I think you shouldn't do. There's some things I think you shouldn't do, and one of the things I don't think you should do is deep fry butter. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's good for you, and I don't think that'd be tasty. I mean, to me, it doesn't sound like a good thing to eat. You
Hey,
know?
dancing along with Reynolds says that failed mac and cheese sounds great. It was, trust me. I used about I made 2 containers of it, and I put I in the noodles. I melted one stick of butter in there and tossed them in that for flavor. And then I turned around and I cut up a block of Velveeta cheese and split it between 2 containers. And I added some peas and mushrooms in it, according to taste, whoever wants it. I like it that way. That is awesome. And, you know, put it in the oven, let that cheese melt down, then just mix it up. It is, man. I was using, I think, canola oil on mine to try and fry the chicken, but I don't know.
But Gary, you say think of the failure. Susan and I cooked a butt roast, a pork butt roast, um, and I smoked it, and I smoked it for like 6 hours,
Mhm.
and it didn't come out like I wanted it to come out. So to me, that was like a failure. But then I turned it around, and we put it in. I got this. Well, it looks like a big paint mixer. And it tears meat apart. And drop that, and that was like a 25-pound butt roast. Is what that thing. It was a huge butt roast I
Wow.
smoked. And I thought, I told Sonia, we can't throw this away. That's a lot of food that we can't throw away because it didn't come out like we wanted it to. So what I ended up doing is we dropped it in a 5-gallon bucket, and we got this mixer thing, and we stuck it there, and I kept turning it on until the my power drill ran out of juice. Shredded that pork butt up to everything. Poured some bunch of barbecue sauce in it, and we made pulled pork out of it, and it
There we
worked, and
go.
it came out pretty good. So one failure turned into something good, and actually it turned into several meals
There
of
we go.
of pulled pork. So I just flipped the switch,
Well,
went a different direction.
I don't blame you. When that fried mac and cheese didn't work out, hey, I just ate the mac and cheese. I was having trouble holding off eating it anyhow, to try and have some to fry, and it truly was, the best mac and cheese I'd ever had. Of course, all according to different people got different tastes. I
Right.
tried one that I saw Alton Brown make on Good Eats. It called for a little bit of hot sauce. It just threw the whole taste off to me.
Mm. Well, we've been on here an hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes. You may open it up to anybody who wants to come up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, you can do that right off the bat.
Well, I don't want to do it right off the bat because we want to be sure we do our disclaimer and any hits we find up for the week. You know, we have to do that. Let's see.
Come on. Nikki sit there right there in front of me, and then she'll act like she wants to.
There you
come
go.
up.
Anybody who's on wants to come up and chit chat with us or talk about food or what you're doing on your channel or talk about ask any kind of hints or for analysis or anything you might think is what you found out works, you're more than welcome to come up. And if Jesse, you want to come up and chew the fat with us, we'd always love to have Jesse up because he's a wealth of knowledge.
He is. Hey, I'm comfortable talking cooking, gardening, critters, most anything. The only thing I don't care to talk about is work.
Right. A bad day on YouTube is better than a good day at work. It's almost like
That's
fishing.
right.
It's almost like fishing, right?
Hey, I remember one time, I can't tell you how many edits I put in a video, and then somehow it got deleted, and I apparently deleted too many things trying to make room on my hard drive on my laptop. Hey, Templeton or Templin, I always say that wrong for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's Katie or Kathy.
Hey,
Katie is actually what it is. She's one of the ones. She's one of the ones that came on our very first one we did. That she sent me those questions. She's the one that had those questions that we answered.
Okay, well now I know. You wouldn't tell me to begin with who it was.
Well, I didn't know if she wanted to, to be out there, and I didn't know if she was going to keep.
May not want it known.
Well, she did. I'm sorry, but she's off today because she usually can't make Friday nights because she's usually working Friday nights. She didn't make that first one because she was working.
That's funny.
That if she want you want to come up, Kay, you want to come on. We'd love to have you come up. And Jesse says he likes big Boston butts, and he cannot lie.
You other brothers can't deny. When a girl waste them big thing in
Jesse, does Lisa know about that? I don't think she's not from Boston, so
my dog's a Boston Terrier.
That's right.
Yeah, but I'm willing to talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, we don't always have to talk about analytics. One thing about it that we're saying is analytics. Devil Dog doesn't come in anymore.
That's true.
He said we bore him, so he doesn't come in because we talk about numbers. But oh well.
Hey,
I'm going to tell Lisa. I'm going to call her and tell her.
Hey, let me tell you. I guess while we're here, most of y'all probably already know most all this stuff I'm talking about because a lot of it's old hat. But sometimes, just in case there's somebody out there that don't know it, I will share a little editing tip, if you would, or trick that I use, and I don't know if anybody else uses it. I assume everybody does. But one of the things that I have learned to do when I'm editing a video, I have a tendency to use a bunch of filler words like and, or if it were Devil Dog, he'd say, the thing is, or different people have, different filler words that they use. You can literally go through and cut out just that section. Or you can go through, and it's kind of hard and obvious when you make some cuts if you do that. So what you might try is taking little bitty slivers of the thing and deleting, half second or quarter second thoughts or sections of the video, so it just kind of has a more smoother transaction. Now, what I would do before I started making all these individual cuts, is I'd take the larger section with it and separate that from the rest of the video, separate your audio from the video so that you can delete the audio. That way it's not you saying it all over again. And by taking little slivers out of the video, it fast forwards it to it without actually going through and making it look like it's a jump cut, if that makes sense.
You know what? And what I've done, if you have like, I have my oldest son who is retired Army Reserve now, but he's got a foul mouth on him, and I tell him, I try to tell him, hey, watch what you're saying on the video, but every once in a while he'll slip. He tries not to say bad words and stuff, but he'll slip. So what I've done is I always watch the video when I'm editing it, and I've even put a little beep in there, a little beep, so it just beeps out what he says. I mean, people know what he's saying or he's using a foul language when that hear the beep. So it makes it a little bit easier. Hey, Brian, it makes it a little bit easier. Man. So anyways,
here, Brian, come on up.
Yeah, sure, Brian. You can separate them out, but I think I don't know. I don't like to spend 8 hours on editing a video that I spend 3 hours, recording.
Right, I understand.
I like to get my editing down to less than an hour to an hour and a half, because when I upload it, a 30-minute video for me to upload with any kind of music and any kind of text boxes is going to take me an hour and 15 minutes to upload it.
Well, it's not unusual for me to take a 30-minute video of all the, because I separate my videos and shoot different sections, because I don't want people to sit there and see me while I'm, steadily moving the grilled cheese back and forth, or, when that's 80% of the video. I'm trying to avoid some of the boredom some people will go through if they're watching one of my videos. And so
Goodbye, Derek.
I try to cut to the main points. I try to, because one of the things I also know, one of the people that I watch and kind of learned a little bit of editing about and what makes a good video, or what some people say makes a good video, is over at Dead Broke Barbecue. And if you get a chance, if you're familiar with him, great. If not, it's never a bad idea to go take a look at the way he does his videos. Now, we got Bruce in here too, Shooting Star Mississippi.
Yeah, Bruce. Hey, Bruce.
But I think that it's beneficial to look at the way other people do their videos, and try some new things. You may decide it's not for you. You may decide, it may increase your views or your retention time. I don't know.
Well, my videos, they're what do we do on the farm. So, I mean, I've watched like Tree Haven. He talked about editing a video and cutting it in 4-second segments, and and changing angles and stuff for like you would on a TV show. Well, my farm is not a TV show. It's what we actually do. So yeah, I guess I could, if I could want to mess with a lot of different camera angles and stuff like that, I could do that. But I'm trying to get something done, and I really don't want to spend 8 hours doing a 4-hour job of putting fence up or T-posting a hot wire, or whether working cows or whatever. Working cows takes a good portion of the day anyways. But
Right.
so I don't agree on the 4-second snippets and changing things every 4 seconds. And I agree. I understand what he's saying, because he says it makes it more look like a show, because your scene changes, your angle changes all the time, and every 4 seconds. Well, yeah, I understand that. On some videos you might want to do that, but my videos I can't do that.
Well, I think that if you're looking, it kind of depends. I know that when I'm sitting there and I'm trying to find how to do something, for example, let's say that I try to figure out how to, with time changes and everything, let's say I try to figure out how to change the time on my clock, because I use military time. And well, even if I didn't, it would still change in the spring and the fall when,
right.
The time changes happen.
But not anymore.
Well, maybe not. I don't know if they passed that or not.
No.
But I do know but I do know that I don't want to sit through a 10-minute video to find out how to change, the time. And so I'm going to go with a shorter one. And I am very appreciative. And you're right. It does depend on what you're trying to do. I try to have a variety of length videos on my channel because, sometimes it's a question of having something somebody can put on and just listen to and chill. I've got a 20-minute video, I think, of me cutting the grass. People still watched it.
Right.
I've got some that are just bam, 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 trying to show somebody how to do it. And I have been known to put out shorter versions of one video so that they just want to know the highlights or the basics of it, they can do that. Or if they want to know a little bit more nuanced view, they can do that as well. I think my tip last week was to have a well-rounded channel. And
Right.
by that, I mean to go through and have videos of different lengths. Try to take advantage of all the opportunities that YouTube allows you to have, whether it's shorts, whether it's longer format, whether it's live streams, and for that matter, some people may even choose to do the podcast. I don't know. But
And Bruce is right. It's up to the creator. There is no hard fast rules on how you should show your video. It's your video.
Right.
So and Laura, I don't know what program you're using when you edit. I use Filmora 12 now. Devil Dogs, it says that you could use DaVinci, and it's free. You can get the free portion of it, and it's just like Filmora. I actually pay for my Filmora, so I feel obligated to use it because I paid for it.
Hey, I use OpenShot. It's free. At least I use is free, and it seems to be as simple as I've seen out there. So.
Yeah, it all depends on what. I mean, when I first started, I used a program that I paid only $49.99 for. It was called AVS, and I was new to it. Never edited a video before. I was new to it, and and you can go back and watch my first videos. It was made that way, but it got my feet wet, and then I thought, I want to be able to add music better, and I want to be able to do more to it. I would like to do maybe every once in a while add some what do you call it, animation to it, and I haven't got into that part yet, and so I'd like to try to do some animation. I also want to do some green screen work, which I have now got a green screen. I don't have it up yet because I haven't unpacked it in the box yet, but I do have a green screen, and I want to try to do some green screen work here pretty soon too.
Brian makes a really good point when he says if your channel is a hobby, then it's a hobby. If it's a business, then you got to treat it like it's a business. I agree. But also, I'm the type of person who likes to continue to learn. And the longer I'm in this, the more stuff I learn about how to do different things, not because it's a business to me, even though I am monetized. The fact is I've given out a whole lot more money than I've made on it. And spent even more than that. But, just because to me, even though it technically, I guess, could be considered business, I'm going to have to do taxes on it. But, the fact is I don't look at it as a business. I really look at it as a hobby.
Correct.
But I'm always learning different things. It's just like somebody the other day said that they got 2 copyright claims. And so they had to go delete those videos. And I went through and says, you don't have to delete them. Says, because not everybody realized that you can go through and mute it, you can replace it, or you can just trim it out.
Well, I would not do nothing because I got a copyright claim on the one that came out on Wednesday because of a song that played in there when Susan was out uncovering the rose bushes. It was a spring song, but I pulled that spring song off of Filmora. So Filmora obviously has the copyright for it. So all I did was in my description wrote in that this was edited through Filmora and the music came from Filmora. Yeah. And I still have a copyright on it, but it said, I went in and looked on it, it said there's nothing, there was nobody was claiming anything. It was just saying it was a copyright, it was a song, it was a copyrighted song, but nobody had put a claim against me on it. So I didn't have to do anything about it.
there's a big difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike. And some people worry when, even if they get a claim. I usually go through and do something about it just because it's, it's not hard to do. And it doesn't take but a couple of minutes to fix it one way or the other.
And I agree with you, Gary. But when I first started, I saw a copyright. I did one that had a copyright. I freaked out because you did like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get, I didn't want to, didn't want those claims or the strikes against me or anything like that. And being new to it, it kind of is a little freaky at first, because you don't know what that all means.
Right.
So when this happened this time, I thought, you know what, I'm going to look into this more. So I looked into it, and that's when I found. I said, well, you don't have to do anything about it because it's just a copyright claim. Unless somebody comes back and claims, the owner of that song comes back and claims it against you, then you'd have to defend yourself or whatever. And I thought, well, I already know I got it off of Filmora. It was licensed through Filmora because Filmora says they're not going to put anything out there that will have a copyright claim against you. Yeah. So I just went and left it, and I thought, well, we'll just see what happens. And if it gets down to where I get somebody cuts a strike against me, I'll remove it.
Oh, that reminds me. I had the other day. Did I tell you about that? Even the stuff that you upload that ain't public yet, sometimes they have issues with. I added three How to Speak Redneck videos the other day, and one of them, it says it claimed just that it had limited ad suitability. And so I did request, as Jesse was talking about, all claims can be disputed.
Right.
Well, I want to, I naturally, you're talking about a 15-second video, if
right.
that. And so I went ahead and disputed it. But I went ahead and had it available to the members and what have you. It's funny because, we live in a society that is so, touchy about anything and everything. In the South, there's a statement, and it may be true, and it's reference to cast iron cooking utensils. The phrase is, the pot calling the kettle black.
Right.
And
I've heard that all my life.
I have too. And it's basically saying the person doing the accusing somebody else of is just as guilty as one they're accusing. That's all it means. But I think because it had the term black in there, I think it was thinking it was, somebody would take offense to it, like it was supposed to be talking about people or something. But it had, it had nothing to do with that, somebody's race. It had to do with, just talking about, it's a reference, like I said, to cast iron cooking.
Right.
But it is what it is. And I ain't gonna worry too. Oh, by the way, I disputed it, and it came up ads fine. But I think that hurt it's whether or not YouTube pushed it out, because it didn't get many views.
Well, I wonder if it's the algorithm that made it disputed. And then when you made it, a claim against it, then when you disputed it, somebody actually watched it and they went, "Oh, that's okay,"
Probably. And to be honest with you, it could be depending upon who watched it too. If they're like one of these folks, I think they call social justice warriors, they may read something into it that ain't there. And, but if I love Ronnie Milsap. I even took Tammy to, hang on. I don't know what's going on. Tammy's wanting my attention for something.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right. No problem. Jesse, you want to come up for a little while? Maybe it'd be nice if you would come up, or Bruce would come up, or somebody would come up that, if anybody has any questions about anything. That's why reason we did this with Gary is shooting star. Here comes Bruce. Hey, Bruce.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. All right. Sounds like y'all got a pretty good topic there that really all of us need to, I guess, talk about once in a while. Editing and copyright claims.
Yeah. They can be a pain.
Yeah. Uh, you know, I,
Well,
I get
what
copyright.
program do you use to edit?
I've used different ones. I've used Power Director. I've used KindMaster. I got another one now that I'm going to try to start using. I can't even think of the name of it, but uh, I just recently put it on my phone. Let's see, I'll find it.
Well, do you do all your editing through your phone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
You know,
I do all my editing on my computer. I
yeah.
only thing I do on my phone is shorts. And Katie asked, how much time do you dedicate to editing? And here comes that one more. Here comes Jesse. We're gonna let him come up here also.
Oh, okay.
Katie, I don't have a time I dedicate to it. I just do what it's got to be done.
Right.
Hey Jesse, hi
Hey,
Lisa.
Jesse, how you doing?
How you doing?
Doing okay.
Yeah, I just had to come in here and bail him out again.
No, that should that you're not really the mod father. You're the bailout father.
I see.
At least you're not bailing me out of jail.
Yeah, I'm a bail bondsman here now.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, the
So-
name of this other editor and a friend of mine shared this with me. It's called InShot. So I haven't tried it yet. I thought I might try it on my next video. I have had someone help me with editing too. And she's very good at editing. In fact, and that's a woman that lives in the Philippines. Her channel name is MK Show TV Love 3X, and she's got over 1,000 videos on her channel, and she's done quite a lot of editing, a lot of it with Power Director and KindMaster. But I've heard some people complaining about those, and I've seen that there's other editing apps out there that people can use. So I don't know. I've done more live streams on my channel than I have actual videos,
Right.
and that's mainly because I just haven't had much time to get out and make videos. I'm always having to work, and then what time I have to be on YouTube is usually sitting right here at this desk, and and StreamYard it's an amazing thing to me.
Yeah,
And
it is.
actually, one video you can do some editing on StreamYard. You know, you can actually do editing on StreamYard now, and which is a big plus if you ask me.
You can only edit StreamYard if the video is 6 hours or less. If it's
Right.
more than 6 hours, it will not let you edit.
Right.
Well, Dancing Alone with Reynolds says that he thinks that sometimes it's 5 to 10 hours of editing, and I just have to say, if I spend 5 or 10 hours editing a video, I'm gonna stop making that video. That unless it's a 5 hour video. I mean,
Gary, but it depends on what software you're using, how dedicated it is, how difficult it is. I use DaVinci, and the average is for every minute you're gonna spend 1 hour of editing, and that's from the time you download your videos to your computer, upload them to DaVinci, do all your changes and edits, cuts, adding the music, adding the transition, both video transition and audio transitions, all that. If you do it, I mean, you watch my videos, I try to do a great job on my editing. But if you do all that, it takes time. You're not going to do it in no 3 hours. I guarantee it, unless you're just going to. And if you only got 5 or 6 minute videos, yeah, why do much editing? But when you want to do a 30-minute or less, 30, 20, I try to keep my videos between 12 minutes or 8 minutes to 28 minutes.
and I started doing that because you said that you want to be at least 8 minutes. I heard you say this one time, at least 8 minutes long, and no more than 28 minutes long, because you start losing people. So you can put commercials on it when you're monetized. So I've been doing that, and I've been trying to keep them. Between around 20 minutes. I could.
Well, you want to make 8 minutes because you want the ad revenue. So
right.
If you don't want the ad revenues, then you can do 2 or 3 minute videos. But when you get monetized, I'm talking about. You
Right.
want that ad revenue, and
Yeah.
YouTube is in the business of making money, and the way they make money is by putting in ads in your videos, and there's where they make their money. The more ads they can put, which is why I go 28 minutes, the more money you and YouTube makes.
Right.
Now, Shooting Star was talking about KindMaster. So when I first started doing video, I didn't have my laptop. Well, I had a laptop, but it was not mine. It was my company's laptop. I had a company.
Right.
I've had a company laptop for 20 years. So I couldn't download any kind of software to it. So I was using my phone to do all my editing, and that was a pain in the butt. So I use KindMaster, which is probably one of the easier ones to use if you're going to use a phone software.
Right.
Editing, KindMaster. But there's other ones. It's CapCut, and in fact, if you have a Windows operating system, not Mac but Windows has an excellent editing version, free.
Really?
It's in the Windows package there. It's an awesome editing feature. You can look at videos online on YouTube on how to use it. It's very simple, and people don't even realize that Windows has it, but it's there.
Wow.
I didn't know until it
didn't
had
know
it until
that.
you told me about it a while back, but I still haven't checked it out.
Yep, you go check it out. It's like I said, it's free. Now, obviously, like with anything, if you want something more or added to, you can always buy a paid version. But I use DaVinci, and it was rough learning at first because it's a very detailed, and I still don't have it all down. But I mean, it's very detailed oriented, and I can't remember who. Tony from Creekside turned me on to it, and another guy he's no longer on YouTube, but he was from the Newfoundland, Canada, Newfoundland, and he was on DaVinci and told me about it. But I've tried CapCut, I've tried Filmora, all your editing softwares are basically the same. The only thing different is how it's situated on the screen, and maybe a few words. I mean, features may be called something different, but
Right.
Now,
it's basically all the same.
Now, Katie asks, how do you store your videos? I store all my videos on a hard drive, an external hard drive, not on the in computer hard drive.
Yeah.
And my question
Good
is to
idea.
everybody: do you think there's a point where you should delete those videos off and clear out some hard drive space,
So,
or should you keep them forever? Because they're already kept in YouTube, correct?
If you're using a flash drive to store your videos, you won't have to worry about running out of space. And then if you need an additional flash drive, if your flash drive is running out of space, then you can simply go buy you another flash drive.
So
Right.
let me tell you a little story here. So there's two rules of thumb, or two schools of thought on that. Some people say, why do I need to store those videos? Because they're on YouTube forever. Never say forever, because if you look at Little Southern Brothers, they had a claim against their channel, and they basically took everything down, and they wanted to start another channel, which they did. They started a temporary channel until they got everything all the issues resolved on the primary channel, and we're talking like tons and tons and tons of videos. Well, they didn't save all their videos. So they couldn't put none of their current good videos on the new channel because they didn't have them. So the thing is, if you store them on either a laptop or store them on an external drive, and I save all mine, because you never know, YouTube could say, you know what, we hit the wrong button, and
true.
you lost all your videos, and now you got to reload them.
That's true.
So I mean, that's what I say never, because like I said, a Little Southern Brothers would have never thought that they would have had a claim against one of their main channel, and they shut it down. They shut it down, but they got to resolve. But they shut the whole channel down. They couldn't get none of their videos. And once YouTube shuts you down, you're not getting any of those videos back.
Right.
It's their property. It belongs to them, even though it's your channel and your video. Once they shut you down, you're not getting none of that back.
Right.
So. And another thing is, I would say the videos for posterity. You just never know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. Hey, Gary, you're muted. Okay. He's talking to somebody else, I think. So, anyways, I don't know how you.
That's how we communicate.
Did you understand what you understand what he's saying? Because I didn't understand
he
a word
said,
either one of you were
give
saying.
me, he said, "Give me a damn minute, okay? I'm busy. See, that's what he's saying. See,
Yeah.
give me a damn minute, okay? I'll be there with you in a minute, Jerry." So
I didn't know he was.
hold your horses. He said,
Excuse me.
If
I didn't know he wasn't talking to me. I thought he was talking to
If you
me.
don't wait, I'm gonna clock you. That's what he was saying. If you point to the watches, I'm gonna clock you on.
Well, he's gonna have to drive here to do it because I'm
I
not gonna
know.
drive there to let him do it.
You know, he ain't a Mississippi redneck for nothing.
That's right.
I guess I'll just have to stay out of Mississippi, huh?
Oh no.
What I was trying to say is I'll be with you in one moment.
Okay.
The couple things, and I'm sorry I've missed a little bit of the conversation.
Oh, we got to
Very
start
good.
all over now. We got to start all over for Gary.
No worries.
Well, that's all right. I can just catch it in the rewind or something. I've got milk in here because I just had a bit of chocolate cake because
Yeah.
my niece is here and Tammy was calling me to have a piece of chocolate cake with my niece for her birthday. So,
so I
she's
say
not
happy
gonna be here
birthday.
long.
Happy birthday.
And then when I get back in here, I won the drawing over on the DJ's, on
Cartoon.
the DJ's live, and I've been trying to get one of them heart stickers he's got that's special edition for a while, and
Yeah.
I ain't been able to talk anybody into giving one out beforehand.
Yeah, you think your good friends would hook you up, huh?
Yeah.
My
And-
daughter's
and-
birthday was yesterday.
And Gary's into short sentences. That's why he said he's drinking milk. He didn't want to finish at magnesia. Milk and magnesia. Yeah, I'm drinking milk.
That reminds me, earlier you said that I was number one. I graduated first in my class, and it was, of course, it was summer school. I just didn't want to tell the whole story. That was fun,
Yeah.
but I did
Hey,
graduate.
But Gary, you also graduated with honors. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Win, Your Honor. I promise.
If I could find my degree around here, it does have a little seal on it showing that I did graduate with honors from college. I was on president's list 4 times. The rest of them was what you call the dean's list. I was a lot sharper back then, obviously, than I am today. So somewhere around here, I got my degree.
The dean's list is short for a list for those who are always in trouble.
No, it meant that I had at least a B average. President's list mean I had a straight A's. Dean's list mean I had at least a B average. Of course, by that time I was married and going back to school, and it does wonders for a GPA when you're not chasing women all the time.
Gary, you told me they were chasing you. Now, which is it? Were they chasing you or you chasing them?
Hey,
He
I
was
let
running.
them catch me. That counts.
He was
for
running.
chasing
He
my
didn't,
record.
he just not tell you which way it was running. Either running away or running towards.
You're going to have to make up my mind.
There was a lot of running all the way around.
Okay.
And, but hey, I got married and went back to school, and they weren't all them distractions they was the first time. So
Well, I agree because when I moved here in Missouri, I went back to school at age 49, back to college, and there's all those 18 and 19-year-old kids that were there who didn't want to be there. They were there because their mom and dad told them they had to be. And I did really good and learned, out of there with a 3.74. So.
oh, that's awesome.
Gary, you graduated magna cum laude. I graduated thank the laude.
No, I think I just graduated cum laude. And the reason for that, now, if, just being honest about my grades, my first year, I think I had a 2.2 GPA. That was because let's say I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to school. And one of my classes, my first semester, I was stupid and took an 8 o'clock class. And as an 18-year-old kid, I wasn't going to show up to no class at 8 o'clock in the morning. especially when I was, if you look at what I do now, it ain't much different than then. As far as timing is concerned, I'm a late night person, not an early morning person. And who wants to go to school at 8 o'clock in the morning? So I actually ended up, hey, my grades were bad the first time around I went. I say bad, 2.2 ain't real bad, but considering that one of those was a zero, one of those classes was a zero, I never bothered dropping it either. So that actually went on my GPA. Now, when I got married and went back to school, well, like I said, back then I was a lot sharper than I am now. And so I did pretty well at class. I had pretty good study habits, and you didn't have to listen a whole lot, just listen a little bit. And, it wasn't hard to make a good grade. But I did end up graduating with honors, and laude, or cum laude, I guess is what it is. I didn't graduate summa cum laude. I didn't graduate magna cum laude or anything like that. Just cum laude. And the reason why I did bring up my GPA from a 1.7 to a 3.52 or something like that. If I had dropped that one class, it probably would have. I think I figured it out one time, and it would have been about a 3.75 GPA. But that's beside the point. I tend to be a little obsessive, and like I said, I used to be a lot sharper than I am now. You can look at me and just tell I ain't that sharp these days. So
yeah.
It's I'm sorry. It kind of sounds like I'm bragging, don't it? Yeah, a little bit.
Nah,
We're not
not
going to
really.
disagree. We're not going to disagree with you, Gary.
Stating facts.
Well,
You're just a fact person.
Yeah.
well,
We're not going to fact check you, Gary, because we know you're right.
I will tell you this: I am the least educated person in my immediate family. My brothers both have the equivalent of a PhD in real estate. My father has a PhD in psychology. My mother had a master's degree in special education. My sister, I think, has a master's degree as well. So my little old bachelor degree, it ain't jack. The fact is, I guess you could say I'm the black sheep of the family. That's okay.
I'm the black sheep of my family too.
Well,
But,
I don't know if you've ever noticed, but sometimes I put up what you call $5 words. In my family, you have to, kind of learn a few of those every now and again just to keep up with what else is going on.
yeah.
Well, you guys may be the black sheep of your family, but I'm the only ram in my family,
There we go.
and I'm the last of them. So
and he's always butting heads with
and I'm
somebody.
always butting heads. That's right, just like a ram.
So did you close down your broadcast, because I haven't seen nobody make a single comment? What's going on?
No, it's still open. Just nobody's talking. They're just sitting listening.
Oh, they're just listening. Okay.
It says we got 8 people here. We're 4 of them.
It's that intense. Yeah.
Otis,
What's
be
that?
quiet.
Oh, is that Otis? Otis is giving us his 2 cents worth.
Yeah,
He's
he's trying to say belt loop ain't all that.
He said,
If Otis could say that, then there's money right there. Otis
he's
talking.
telling us what Gary's $5 words are.
That reminds
Yeah,
me.
see, there he goes.
Exactly.
I got in a conversation earlier today in one of these live streams, and I don't even remember what it was. I said something, and somebody made a comment like, I don't remember what it was, but I said, I may have to put him in
Jesse's a man of several languages, so he'll tell him.
I'll talk to him. I'll tell him to shut up.
But what was it? I don't even remember how the conversation went, but I said something about, I think I said a word that may have been a $5 word or a $3.50 word, something like that, and somebody made a comment about something. Oh, I know what it was. I asked. The conversation had been picked up into gardening, and rather than say Bacillus thuringiensis, I asked if if they had any opinion about using BT in the gardening, in gardening, because you use BT or Bacillus thuringiensis for hornworms, and somebody came back and said BT means Bacillus thuringiensis. I wrote back, I know. I said, and then I put, but I can also, and I know how to spell it. Says, but I also know how to spell uh, sesquipedalian, and wrote in and typed in sesquipedalian. It says, but I was trying to make it easy, and so they, LOL, I don't even know what that is. And then I told them, I said, sesquipedalian is just somebody who likes to use big words.
Which that's Gary.
Well, that's what sesquipedalian means. I mean, it's somebody who likes to use big words.
And Devil Dog doesn't like it when you do that.
I know.
That's why you do it.
No, it ain't.
Oh, come on. I know you guys like to fight it all. You guys are like a married couple.
Hey, I don't use math because he don't like to do it.
No.
And I think he actually knows some bigger words than he lets on.
I think he knows a lot more than when he lets on. So, I mean. So.
Well, I don't know. He's a Marine,
Well,
so.
Yeah, he is a Marine. So. And I haven't seen him poke his head in here yet. So that's, that's kind of interesting.
Probably usually one of the ones in the background. So.
He may be. He likes to come in here and lurk and see if we're talking about him or talking about the numbers or. He gives it to me later.
Anytime he sees Gary up on panel somewhere, he's listening. Trust me, he's lurking.
Hey, I know exactly what Devil Dog is doing right now. I know exactly what Devil Dog is doing right now. I can sing. He's on the panel over there at DJ's. Tonight was DJ's cerebral palsy awareness stream. And and I was over there for a while, but I told him early on though I was going to have to leave because I had a prior commitment. And so that's why, hey, I'm gonna make my prior commitments, but I'm also kind of, I've got two screens, so I've got this one screen right here, and I don't I do not Devil Dog. I don't try to go through and do two different things at one time, but I know that they've got this, they've got these giveaway on these particular stickers,
right?
And I wanted a sticker, so I'm.
So do you only win one time?
I think you can win twice. I won one a minute ago, and I don't know if I won his regular sticker or if I won because I'm paying more attention to the chat over here than I am that. I just saw my name flash on there, and I said, "Hey,
Now, the other day you were on Backwoods Misfit, on the Little Ridge Farm giveaway.
Yeah.
And I know you won something there that Devil Dog wanted.
I know.
He wanted to swap you so bad. He was, come on, Gary, come on.
Hey, I did make him sweat it a little bit, but I did end up saying that he could have that fishing rod.
Yeah.
So he. The fact is, you could tell he wanted it, and I have no doubt he does more.
But Gary, have you seen him fish? Have you seen him fish?
He has to get away from the computer.
Well,
I've seen him fish. Trust me, he don't fish.
Okay.
He casts. That's what he does is cast.
And hey, that's okay. The fact is, if it brings him a little joy, and it's his birthday tomorrow anyhow. So.
Oh, okay.
On April Fool's Day, you know what his parents were thinking, right? When they had him on April Fool's.
Hey, but Devil Dog's got a heart of gold, and I love him like a brother. So
do I. He's good people.
And mine's April 19th, so I'm right behind him.
Yours is coming right up pretty quick here, huh?
Yep.
Are you making what 62? 61.
Most everything I won in that giveaway, I've already re-gifted to other folks. I knew it would mean a lot more to Devil Dog to have that rod, and that fishing rod, than to me. I don't do much fishing. In fact, I've only been once in the past well, if you don't count deep sea fishing, probably 15, 20 years. I've got a whole thing of bait and tackle and what have you here at the house, but it never sees the water. I've got, you know, and I just knew it would mean more to him than it did to me. And the gift card that I won is, you know, I told Shirley and them just to keep it, you know, and spend it and make sure they do something fun with it. Now the t-shirts I do want to get a hold of just because, well, I mean, me and Tammy in two of the same shirt, that'd be kind of cute, you know, the couple thing going. And I did keep the stickers, you know, that I'm supposed to be getting. So,
Well, you know, talk about t-shirts, Gary. I haven't got your t-shirt I ordered from spring yet. I got Devil Dogs, but not yours.
well,
And I think yours have been easier to print.
No, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I to be honest with you, when it comes to merchandise and that type of thing, in fact, I got an idea for some merchandise. I'm going to give away some merchandise. I guess I could give it away on here.
Well, whatever you want to do. When you want to do, you don't want to do it now because we only have 8 people in here. Well, I guess maybe we should. Maybe you do want to do it now. We have a better chance of winning.
Yeah,
Gary,
we have a better chance of winning.
Gary, let me just send you my address real quick. Make it simple.
Yeah, you know what?
All right, we're done. We're done.
Hey,
There's
I'll
only
trade
8
you-
people
I'll
here, and I
trade
wouldn't
you.
win. So
Hey, you might want to know what this merchandise is before you trade too quick.
it may be his
do
old
want
back
some
of cheese.
Lisa's.
It don't matter. It don't matter, Gary, because I know how to re-gift too.
Hey, well, I do. I would love to get some of Lisa's, you know, jalapeno watermelon jelly. That sounds delicious, and I know her jalapeno was awesome.
Yeah, that jalapeno watermelon. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Go ahead.
is good.
Go ahead,
I
Gary.
asked for that.
Hang on, I'm gonna show you something.
I think I have one in the cupboard.
I'm gonna show you. You ready to see the product? I got it right here.
Yeah, I want to see what I'm going to win.
All right. See this? It's a cup for mug shots that I'm going to mark through mug shots, and I'm going to write in Belt Loop 29.
You ain't got to mark through it. Just put your sticker on the other side.
And then you can call the used sticker.
I ain't got no stickers though, Jesse.
What, dude? All them stickers y'all been giving away.
Hey, every sticker that comes out from Belt Loop 29 is printed from Devil Dogs. Other than those handful, about 12 of the hand drawn ones that I did.
You need me to send me one of your stickers back?
No, I'm sure it'll be all right. But the truth is, and I'm very appreciative of Devil Dog and doing that, because there's, you know, some people stickers mean a great deal to them. I would rather take the money that I would be spending on stickers and send it to folks that need some help, and that's what I tend to do anyhow. And it's just like I was talking with my mama and daddy today, and I said something other about I think I mentioned that I have a tendency to be parsimonious. And surprisingly, I don't think my mom and daddy knew that particular word at the moment.
That's opposite of sanctimonious.
Well, it just means that I'm cheap. You know, I have a tendency to be pretty cheap. And I think that's a result of having grown up extremely poor.
Okay, let me ask you something. You consider it cheap or frugal? There's a difference, you know.
I think it's frugal because
I think it's frugal too.
I'm not cheap when it comes. I'm very, very generous in some ways.
Yeah, so you're not cheap. You're not cheap. You're frugal.
There are people, whether it's people I know here around me or whether it's people on the internet, that I do send money to. And I do that because the fact that they strike me as being in need. And so I don't think of myself as being really cheap. I just have different priorities, I guess. I would rather make sure that I take home whatever is left in my from the restaurant to eat again later than to try and have to buy something else and spend more money, which means I get less money to give out. And so,
Right.
I don't know. I don't really think of myself as being cheap, but maybe frugal. Um, I do. I do make an effort to help others. I was raised a Christian in a Christian home, and I was always taught to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Um, I remember the story about the woman who gave 2 coins, and Jesus said that. Well, I think you know the story. Anyhow, I believe in trying to do for other folks.
Like Biden, you know the deal.
Yeah.
Well, no, see, because of the fact that the Pharisees and Sadducees, were giving all these great amounts of money to the church, and all these people were looking at them like they were something special, and they received their reward here on earth because they received the praise and adulation of other people. But the lady was poor, and she only had 2 coins to give. And Jesus recognized her. So I don't think that it's a question of what you have or the praise that you receive from other people. It's more about doing what you can.
Well, no, I think it's more about it's more about what's in your heart
I
about
would agree.
the gift that you're about to give or not give. It's what's in your heart, Because if you have $1 million and you give $1 million, that doesn't mean you're any more of a giver than somebody who has 2 cents and they give their 2 cents.
Right.
It was what was behind the heart, about giving.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that lady gave all that she had
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't have anything, really. She had those 2 cents. She gave,
Well, 2 coins, I think they were shekels, but that's beside the point.
well, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's just that she
Right.
gave what she gave everything that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And, these, you know, Pharisees and Sadducees that were given these big offerings, they had a lot.
Yeah, they did.
And they were giving really just a fraction of what they had
That's right.
compared to what she was doing. And, and there were other things, I mean, Christ, he condemned them. He condemned those people,
Yeah.
He called a spade,
He did.
And,
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a religious talk on the stand, Gary.
Hey, it's all right.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, her watermelon jelly. Hey, I know her jalapeno jelly's good, but I want to try that jalapeno watermelon. Hey,
Yeah, I think she said she has some more.
I don't mind trading.
Are you waving the carrot? Is that what you're doing about Luke?
Full experience. Hey, I'm trying. I don't think it's that tempting though.
I wanted to show you something, Jerry, while we're on here. Do you recognize that?
Yeah. What'd she send you?
So, well, she didn't send it to when we went to Oregon. We met with your daughter,
Right.
and some of the things she had to say about you. Oh, Lord, Lord,
It
Lord.
was all awesome stuff. I know.
Yeah. No, but but for those who don't know, his daughter is a, if you will, a hobbyist rockhound. Yeah, she likes all this not genealogy. What's it called? Geology.
Mhm.
And so she was there, and I don't know if I can show it with where it gets a decent. I can got light on it, but
that's
maybe too bright. So this is one that she cut. So
Right.
it looked like this when she found it.
Yeah.
So when she cut it open, it looks like this, and it's got some real nice detail in it. But
Oh, it has some jasper.
It's got some quartz in it. I can see the quartz in there.
yeah,
She got some of that from us because Susan and I were prospectors, and we used to go out out in the desert and
Yeah,
and,
she did. She did say, "Shh! Don't tell my dad I'm giving you this."
yeah.
But I'm
sure
telling
she
you.
did. I'm sure she did. But she also knows that I'm one of those people that I believe. To me, that's a leverite because it's not gold. I rather dig the gold up than dig the rocks up, and she likes to pick up the pretty rocks. So I think you pick up a piece of gold, it's a lot prettier.
Well, of course. I mean, but come on, you're not going to be able to find gold just laying on the beach or.
Well,
I mean,
no, but you gotta.
gotta
There's a
work
lot
for
of gold. A lot of gold in Oregon. There's a lot of gold in Oregon.
Yeah.
Just gotta just
Look
know where to
hard
look.
enough, you might find.
Where's my? Oh, I just.
The only state
be
that I
like
know of right now that has
needle
no
in a
gold in it is
haystack,
Missouri.
So, and then she gave us some. I don't know what this stuff is, but it's like a quartz. Looks
Yeah.
like quartz.
Mm.
She's ground it, cut it, and ground it.
So you can see right through it. See.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really vibrant. And then I don't know if this one here can see, but some of these stones you can see right through them because the way they're layered in the earth.
Yep.
And I thought, wow, look at that. See?
That's really cool.
And this thing's been polished. I mean, she run that through a tumbler.
Right.
So, and then this one here, see if I can find the right way of showing it, but it's hard to see, but it's red.
Yeah, it's red quartz.
Oh yeah.
Red quartz. See how pretty it is?
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's
It shines up real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then
When
this
I
is
was growing up, there was a man that lived in our neighborhood. He collected rocks and polished them up. He had
and this is a piece of petrified wood.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Petrified wood. Now to find some of that, there's some. Now these two are the piece de resistance. That's why they're wrapped up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what does that look like, Jerry?
Looks like amber. Looks like it's amber to me.
Hold that up there again.
Hey, Jerry,
Look
Yes,
at that
sir.
thing.
All I can see is
Jerry, and I've got to go.
Okay.
We were scheduled till 10 o'clock, and I was supposed to be doing something else, just after this with somebody else.
Okay. Well, I was going to try to cut this off at 2. After we went over it at 15 for you, but now that if you're going to go, I don't have to cut it off at 15.
Hey, I appreciate that. I just I've been planning on doing this with Matt over at Outdoors with Big Matt. We're going to do a short little video on a couple things dealing with a live stream.
Okay.
Co-streaming. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to.
You're okay. It's okay. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
Same
Well, I'm
time,
sure I'll see you
same
before
bat
that.
channel.
So I don't know. I don't later, Gary. I don't know if that's quartz or not, but I don't know if it's amber or not, but it really shines up. And
It
then
is beautiful.
last but not least, she gave me this dirty rock right here.
Wow.
That looks like it could be a geo.
All right.
Yep, sure enough.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it from there, see, this is where you can't judge a book by its cover.
Nope.
No, you can't.
So when you crack that bad boy open, and I say crack, she didn't slice it; she cracked it, and look at the beauty inside.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it just glistens like.
All those crystals are pretty
It's
cool.
amazing what geology does, or what the Earth can do to a rock formation. Isn't that something?
Oh
Yep.
yeah. That's beautiful.
And I'm not into rocks, but I thought that was very, very nice of her to give us these rocks.
Yeah.
If I don't have enough rocks in my head,
Yeah, I'd send her rocks, but we don't have any. So
hey, she don't want you to send her no rocks. She said she wants you to send her gold.
I'll send her gold.
You're such a gold proponent.
Actually, she should sending the gold to me because she's in the gold country. We don't have gold in Missouri.
Yeah.
We have diamonds in Arkansas.
Yeah, you don't have no gold because you don't even have any rocks over in Missouri.
No, I don't have a rock over here. So I have all these people keep threatening to bring me rocks, but nobody's brought any yet. So I'm feeling pretty safe.
No, he's serious. He says they don't have any rocks over there.
No, I don't have any rock on my property. We have all our property is what we call glacial drift, and it's all you go down 8 or 6 to 8 feet before you actually find any kind of rock at all. And when you find is sandstone or lime.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been wanting to show you those rocks for quite some time now, but I hadn't had a chance. I thought, well, this would be a good time to tell you. But thank you to your daughter, man. She's an awesome person. She was really.
Well, I'm glad you
real
got a
good to
chance
be
to
around.
meet her.
Yeah, because we were going to Oregon, and he says, "Hey, you're gonna be right there where my daughter's at." What? No, really? So, yeah, coming to find out, she's in the same town we were at when we went to Oregon.
Now, when you were sitting in the parking lot, I called her when you first got there, and you were sitting in that parking lot.
Okay.
And I called her. She said, "I just drove by that parking lot."
Oh,
So she drives
Oh,
drives
wow.
by that parking lot every day. She says, "Go to school, go to work or school."
oh, okay.
So
Yeah, and she teaches in Melrose,
yep,
which is a little community right outside of Roseburg. Roseburg, Oregon's what would you say, 23,875 people?
No,
Yep.
836.
Oh, 836. Okay, 23,836. Better get it right, Jesse.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and it's a little community right outside that town. So she doesn't teach too far away from where we were at. So it was nice to meet her. Very nice
Yeah.
person. Very nice person. Takes after her mom for sure.
that's for sure. That's
we
definitely
we
for
got
sure.
them beat though. I live in the town of Braxton, Mississippi. Population 190.
Wow.
Salute.
Yeah, I got you beat there. My Stark City, I got you beat. My Stark City has a population of 136.
Oh wow. Okay.
We don't even have a stoplight. So
and
We don't
that's
either.
if you count Jerry's cows.
Yeah.
no,
Well,
the cows are actually outside of the city limits, and so am I. But the city, I'm just outside the city limits. The city to the south, 136.
I'm outside the city too.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's.
They don't even have a stop sign. They just turned it into a yield.
Yep. You know what? I think there's one stop sign in the town, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing else. It's just bare corners. There's nothing on the corner at all.
Is there even a stop sign or a stoplight right there in front of the fire station?
Nope.
No.
Nothing in front of the fire station. Nope. Just an open area. So we open up the doors and come out with the lights and sirens, and you don't have to worry about somebody stopping for you because there's usually nobody there.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you know.
Wow. And what's the next biggest community near Stark?
If you go towards Joplin, Joplin's got 30,000 up there, but that's 45 minutes away. Neosho has 14,000. It's a pretty good sized little town. That's where I used to work in Neosho. And then around here, Jesse, all the places are about 5 to 10 miles apart, because they used to be all supplied by the train. And the train would go from town to town to town to town, and they'd stop in each town to get water and sand, so they could go to the next town. And so there actually is an old train, I guess called train bed, where the old rails used to be alongside these roads, and you can actually see where the old train used to drive to go to each town. And there used to be a train stop in each town. Even Stark City had a train stop in it.
Wow.
And
Same here in Texas. And if you notice that most of your towns, well, in Texas, I can't speak for the other cities, but most of your towns in Texas are always between 12 and 20 miles. Every town is between 12 and 20 miles apart. Why? Because a day's ride for a horse was less than 20 miles.
right.
So there would be a stop every so many miles, right? So the horses could water, drink, eat, whatever they got to do, rest your horse. So they did it like every time. And that's how your communities got started, right? Because they went by how far a horse could go in a day.
Right.
You know, obviously in flat land, it could probably go a whole lot further than if it was going over mountainous terrain or hilly terrain. So that's what I thought was pretty interesting here in Texas. That's how all those little towns got started, by how far a horse could go, or a horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Dark Lord said that there was a stoplight next to the fire police station. When I'm going to do a video of our town, and I'll show you on the video when I do it, the jailhouse. We actually have a jailhouse in town, and it's right behind two houses. So there's a jailhouse right in the middle of the community, and that's where they used to, if they threw somebody in jail, that's where they used to go.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Thank you, Marie, for coming on in. It's not my live, but thank you.
Yep,
Anyway.
thank you, and we're going to shut
We're-
this off
we're
pretty
fixing
quick
to shut it
anyway.
down.
Take people to Dale, they take them to Mendenhall from here.
If Bruce, you're breaking up a little bit. Froze up even. Well,
Oh, really?
I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thanks,
Okay.
Jesse. I always
All right,
appreciate
Gary.
it. You're always welcome, you know.
Yeah. I
And
appreciate it.
thanks, Bruce, for coming up. And
Yeah,
we
you're welcome.
thank everybody who came in here tonight. We appreciate it. And we'll do this again next Friday at 8:00 and sit and talk and see what comes up. We'll talk about whatever comes up, you know.
All right.
Try to do a little bit of analytics, and then we talk about what else anybody else wants to seem to hit on tonight. So thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Good night,
Later.
everyone.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.